everyone, welcome back to the channel, and we thought we'd just make a quick little video giving our thoughts and opinions on the sort of pitch madness situation that's going on at Prenton Park at the minute. So obviously we were supposed to play Birmingham at home today. Match has been called off due to
pitch conditions.
It looks terrible, like absolutely awful. And there has been a week as well of
like the pitch hasn't been touched.
It hasn't been touched. Obviously, it's been raining like overnight and stuff like that. But obviously, Tranmere played on it last Sunday against United at home. But since then, I'm pretty sure there hasn't been a game there. So you wonder what's gone on in between that to sort of make it not playable. Whether it was just a case of like the weather last night, just like ruined it, because it does look like there's patches where it's just waterlogged, but obviously there's more that's happened to it since. It's not just due to weather conditions.
It's difficult. Like, I completely can understand the frustration that not just comes from all of us that are sat here now, but comes from within the Tranmere pitch staff, Liverpool staff, everyone. Like, it is no one's fault in terms of you can't predict what the weather's going to be like, you can't predict the effect that weather's going to have on the pitch, but I think there is stuff that people can do, and there is stuff that could be done now to kind of prevent this from happening. Like, that's been 3 games that have had to be either postponed or rearranged to another fixture. Obviously Blackburn, we played at Bamber Bridge last week, but it's like, when do you call enough?
Yeah.
Like, we were saying, like, that Chelsea game probably shouldn't have been played.
No.
The conditions were horrendous, and that's probably what's completely done the pitch in, to be honest. But as I said, like, it's no one's fault. Like, I get the weather has not been great, and I get that sometimes that matches do just get postponed because of whether you get it because of frost, waterlogged pitch, whatever goes on. Yeah. Like, bear in mind, this isn't the only game that's been cancelled today. Yeah. Spurs Bristol got cancelled. Yeah. The Hive was waterlogged as well. So it happens all across, but it's like, we are sharing a pitch with another team, as Spurs are, and that's probably what makes it more difficult to get the pitch back in its shape, because it doesn't have enough recovery time. And like, we're looking now we have a lot more. The majority of our games for the rest of the season are at home, while like Chelsea away in the cup, Chelsea away at the end of the season. There's still a few dotted around, but the majority of them are at home. And should have had today, I'm not too sure on Tranmere schedule, we'll have a look at it, but we should have had today. Obviously next week's the derby at Goodison, so we won't be needing it then. We've got Arsenal on Thursday, the week after, then the City on the Sunday, so that's 2 games in a few days. Yeah.
Well, Tranmere have, in the next 2 weeks, including Tranmere's fixtures and our fixtures, I think if I've worked that right, there's 5 or 6 games to be played on that pitch.
Not a chance that will happen.
Tranmere's next 3 games are all at home, and they play Tuesday evening. They then play Saturday or Sunday, and then they play Tuesday again, and then we play Arsenal on the Thursday, and then we play City on the Sunday. So just that the last 3 fixtures alone is a lot of congestion.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna work out. But it's obviously not just us, and like maybe you guys knew that as well. It's obviously just not us that like know that. Both those clubs will know that. So it's like, well, is something gonna be sorted in between that to allow us to play? Yeah. Because Everton were away today to Brighton. I think it's just waterlogged today, but the pitch looked terrible anyway from like last Sunday when you watched the United game.
When you're having to put sand on a pitch, you know it's bad, it's wrong, But there's no way that pitch is going to fully recover for this season. You need to relay the whole thing in order for it to be fine every single week in and week out. So it's an issue that needs to be solved. But then you say, well, where on earth are we going to play? Where is there to play?
It brings up a whole other issue of, obviously Tranmere take full priority of that pitch and that stadium because it's their stadium. Yeah, exactly, 100%. It's their stadium, it's their pitch. like, you know, fair enough. But then just don't leave Liverpool in the dark. It goes back to that article that we were talking about on the pod on Wednesday of the whole, like, women's football is just not thought about. But that I don't think that's just, I don't think it's a fault of anyone's, it's just not in the forefront of people's minds. So like,
it even goes back to the fact that it was banned for however many years.
Exactly.
And it's only really just come back into the forefront. Like, if that had carried on throughout the whole of that period where men's was, you know, we probably wouldn't be sat here right now having this conversation.
No.
We'd probably have a women's stadium built down the road that is solemnly used for women's games. Like, it's just the way that history sort of occurred. But equally, like, coming back to like the situation as it is, there's no way that we can carry it on.
No.
That's 2 games that have now been rescheduled on top of an already busy schedule with the FA Cup and the league. Like, we were saying, this is like a massively big period for Liverpool women in terms of, they are without a doubt in a relegation battle. There's no way of beating around the bush with that. The game today could have bumped us up a little bit.
If we would have won today, we would have gone to 9th, only like a couple of points off the people above us.
Exactly, and then coming off the back of 2 wins, perfect timing. The preparations were in full swing.
Players
were at the pitch today before it got announced, and it was.
But it's not just. It's easy for us. Like, I didn't even leave my house before I knew the pitch was waterlogged, so it didn't really affect me. But those people who have travelled down to the stadium, Birmingham fans who have travelled down, the players, team, staff, coaches, all of them, like, it just seems like the communication between people is just not happening.
If I was a pitch inspector and I'd gotten there, say 10 o'clock before
the
then,
first
probably
thing
would
you
have
do,
there about 9:30.
Yeah.
And I had 1 second to look at the pitch of the photos that I've seen. I'd be there like,
you'd be like, no.
You'd call it off straight away. You'd tell people by 10 o'clock, by as soon as you'd gotten there and been like, blah, 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 blah. It didn't come out until, what, 20 to 11?
I got a text from you at
11.
half 10.
So, well, we only found
20 to
out because
11.
Chris, obviously, he's been on the show a few times. He gets there a lot earlier because of his work with the WSL, so he was able to tell us. Otherwise, we probably would have set off because
I would have
known.
Like, that's it. Like, we have got to the other side of the tunnel and then gone, oh, it's not even on. Like,
and paid the money through the tunnel, the petrol money already. Like, I feel sorry for the Birmingham people who already travelled, even if they'd travelled up and stayed last night.
But even then, like, money on a hotel and all stuff like that, like, you're just you're out of pocket then, aren't you? It's just.
But the fear that I have now is because we're in such a delicate position already. Like, we could be now getting to the stage where we're having to play 2 fixtures a week, and in terms of preparation for both of those games, like, every single game from now on for us is almost a must win.
It's a cup final every single match.
It really is, and like when you now this is all if and buts. If we won the game today, we go in to have an Arsenal and City and be like, okay, if we pick up a point or 2, that's fine because we've already got a bit of a gap away from the bottom of the table. Yeah. But now you're looking at potentially 2 losses, 3 losses including Everton. Obviously, we're staying positive for that one because I think we can beat Everton. Yeah. We can beat any team, let's be honest. But looking at where we are in comparison to how well Arsenal and City are both doing at the moment, anything can happen at the end of the day. But if you're being very, I don't know what the word is, but if you're being realistic based on form in itself, not what happens on the day, you could be looking at losing out on 6-9 points, which then again puts you in an even worse position. But if you'd have picked up those 3 points from today, it would kind of soften the blow a little bit. I just don't see how all those fixtures are going to be played. There's been no date where Man United's been
no, and that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no idea when this one will be announced. We're already playing a midweek game against Arsenal next week, so it can't be next week for any of them. There's not really that many gaps in terms of games. Like, we're coming up to probably the busiest period. So it's a state, and a lot of people have sent us in those messages. You want to get some of them up, we can have a look on our social media, and a lot of journalists I know, if you want to read a little bit more into it, Molly Hudson, I think, from, I don't know who she it's for a journalist. We'll put a link down below to the article as written about.
I think she might have done like the Telegraph or the Guardian or something like that.
We'll put the link in, but she's written a good article on the state of the pitches and the facilities that could be good for you to all have a look at if you want to know more about the situation in full. She's obviously got the better statistics on it. The Times, that's what it is.
The Times, yeah.
We'll put in a description down below the link to it. But ultimately, it's not what the players deserve. It's not what Liverpool deserves. It's not what the coaches put in work every single day to play at the weekend each week and then it get cancelled. It's not fair.
And you can see the frustration, like all the players have made their thoughts known on social media. Like they would have prepped all week for this, obviously made the journey this morning, got there, and they must have only been there half an hour maybe before it said, oh no, it's not on.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I think just communication's a bit lacking.
Yeah.
But in terms of like people's thoughts, we put like, well, Amy put pictures of the pitch up on the pod Instagram today, and a few comments include, it's a disgrace and just irritating at this point. We desperately need a new ground. That pitch is disgraceful. Feel for Tranmere and their ground staff.
It's worth saying that though, like, it must be absolutely terrible for them. They must have the worst job in the world at the moment.
Because like even the most experienced ground staff, you're still gonna look at that pitch and go, what can I do with that? It's
what
ruined.
do you do?
It's
absolutely, it's battered. And
you can give it as much TLC.
It's not safe. It's not safe.
So it's not safe for anyone to play on it. Even look when you looked at like the Tranmere were playing on Sunday. It takes one player to get the stud stuck in the mud or in a dry bit of the pitch.
And that's their season.
That's their season over. Yeah. You know, ligaments, ACLs, Achilles.
And with it being such a hot topic at the moment, and women injuries becoming so much more prevalent, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way, I just think it's important for us to sit here and film this video to sort of, one, get it off our chest, one, cement the idea that it's not really okay.
No, it's not just something you can let slide. It's gone, it's annoying that's been postponed, but is what it is. Like, no. It's got to the point now, that's the third game really, United, Blackburn. The Blackburn game got moved because it was to let the pitch recover, but then Tranmere go and play United on it, so you're not letting the pitch recover because you've just put another game on top of it.
There needs to be a replacement for the end of the season. I feel, is this our last season at Prenton or is it next season?
I think we've got next season and then it's done.
Okay, so we've got next season there. I think a lot of discussions need to be going on because this should have been something that they thought about before making that decision to have two teams playing on the same pitch.
A lot of fixtures.
And we're not just talking about a Sunday League team here, we're talking about Liverpool women first team in the top tier of English women's football are having to cancel their games each week because of a pitch that's not even theirs being disrupted. Yeah. So I think it's important to look at the bigger picture here, and that's the focal point of what we're trying to say in terms of it's important that these things really get talked about and not just swept under the rug because it's important at the end of the day. They're making a living just as anyone else. Theirs just happens to be within football and they can't even do that at the moment. Yeah. So either way.
So we've got it off our chest.
I've got it off my chest now. I was angry this morning.
Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sure people who watch this will have an opinion on it. Yeah. Whether you agree, disagree, entirely up to you. But yeah, something definitely needs to change. I'm sure we'll probably have an even bigger discussion about it on the podcast this week as well, because we'll have loads of comments and other thoughts that we can express on that as well. But yeah, we'll have a build-up, hopefully with Sarah this week for the derby, which is next Sunday. So our next game will be the derby at Goodison. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, go and get them.
We'll be there.
We'll be there. Yeah, we were having a little discussion before of what type of content we can put out in the build up to it. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all next time with a new video. Bye.